The pharmaceutical industry is the most lucrative business in history. It spends more on marketing than every other industry combined. The billions of dollars it spends in marketing allows it to convince millions and millions of people that they need drugs that they don't necessarily need. But did you know that they're corrupting you under your nose? In this video, I will tell you 10 ways pharmaceuticals are corrupting you. The pharmaceutical industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry, but did you know that it engages in corrupt practices? Here are 10 ways the pharmaceuticals are corrupting you. Number 10. Sudden price increase for medication. The cost of prescription drugs is alarmingly high, with prices increasing multiple times a year for the same drug. You don't believe me? In some cases, the markup on a medication is more than 1,000% above the cost of its ingredients. This is viewed as a scam or robbery by the public, and there is no valid justification for such excessive markups. The pharmaceutical industry may provide reasons for these increases, but the public does not accept them as valid. The prices of prescription drugs are out of control, and this is causing a significant financial burden on patients and the healthcare system. If you think that's evil, wait until you finish this video. You will surely be disgusted how corrupt pharmaceuticals are. And now, let's go to number 9. Unnecessary prescriptions given by doctors. That sounds unusual, doesn't it? But yes, doctors may prescribe medication to patients that they do not actually need. This can happen for various reasons, such as receiving kickbacks or bribes from pharmaceutical companies. These incentives can include discounted prices for other drugs or even tickets to events. The sad thing is that this practice puts patients' health at risk, as they may be prescribed unnecessary medication. True enough, this is unethical behavior and should be avoided at all costs. It's important for patients to be aware of this issue and to question their doctor if they feel that a prescription is unnecessary. Number 8. Marketing expenses surpass research costs. Here's a chilling reality to consider. Many pharmaceutical companies spend more money on marketing their drugs than on researching them. In some cases, the ratio of marketing to research expenses can be as high as 2 to 1. This means that for every dollar spent on researching a drug, $2 are spent on marketing it. This raises concerns about the safety and effectiveness of these drugs, as well as the impact of such high marketing expenses on the cost of medication. The next time you see a pharmaceutical commercial, consider the cost of the commercial and the amount of money that was spent on researching the drug being advertised. The number of disclaimers in the commercial may give an indication of the level of research that was conducted. Are you feeling disgusted by now? Hold on tight, the truth is about to be revealed about these corrupt pharmaceuticals. Let's continue with number 7. New drugs are often not new. Ever heard of "there's really nothing new under the sun"? The pharmaceutical industry is known to market drugs as new, even though they may not be truly new or different from existing options. As consumers, we should do our research and be aware of this tactic, as these drugs may be identical to existing options, but being sold under a different name for different symptoms. Many drugs may be slightly modified and then marketed as new treatments for different conditions. One example of this is nortriptyline, which was initially prescribed as an antidepressant, but was later marketed as a migraine treatment after it was found to be more effective for migraines than depressions. This highlights the need for consumers to be informed and vigilant when it comes to new drugs, and to not be swayed by marketing tactics that make claims of newness without any substantial difference. Here's a tip. Critically evaluate the information provided by pharmaceutical companies and seek out independent sources to ensure that you're getting the best treatment options at an affordable price. Number 6. Exploiting underdeveloped countries for clinical trials. You know what else is sad? People of power taking advantage of those who are powerless. Many pharmaceutical companies conduct clinical trials in underdeveloped countries where regulations are lax and the governments can be swayed by bribes. The reasoning behind this is that they can get away with practices that would not be allowed in developed countries. The laws and oversights are not as strict, which allows these companies to conduct trials without proper oversight. If something goes wrong during the trial, the impact is not as widely felt or reported in these underdeveloped regions. This allows companies to exploit vulnerable populations without fear of repercussions. The lack of oversight and lack of concern from the government in these countries provides an opportunity for these companies to conduct trials without proper ethics or safety guidelines, putting the health and well-being of these populations at risk. And now we're down to our last 5. Keep watching. The jaw-dropping details are yet to be unveiled. What do you think is the pharma's biggest corruption? Number 5. Alarming figures in the pharmaceutical industry. In 2016, the American pharmaceutical industry was reported to be worth more than $374 billion. This equates to roughly $1,240 per person per year, or $103 per month per person. Even more alarming, this breaks down to around $3.50 per day that each American is contributing to the profits of pharmaceutical companies. The sad reality is that there is little that can be done by the general public to combat this trend, as long as the government continues to permit such practices. This trend is likely to continue, with the industry's profits only increasing. Number 4. Sales reps are trained to deceive. Pharmaceutical companies use sales representatives to visit doctors and inform them about new medications and technology. However, many of these representatives are trained by the companies to present the information in a misleading way. They are taught to exaggerate the benefits of the company's products and downplay the risks. This is a serious issue, as it can lead to doctors prescribing medication that may not be the best choice for their patients. While it is not confirmed that all companies engage in this practice, it is known that a significant number of them do, and the public should be aware of this unethical behavior. Number 3. Prescription drugs cause fatalities. Did you know that prescription drugs are one of the leading causes of death in the United States, responsible for the deaths of over 200,000 Americans every year? This makes it the 3rd leading cause of death in the United States, behind only cancer and heart disease. These drugs, which are intended to improve health and well-being, are instead causing a significant number of fatalities. For example, the suicide rate in the U.S. increased by 30% between 1999 and 2010, during which time the use of antidepressants also saw a considerable increase. This raises questions about the possible connection between the use of these drugs and suicide rates. This is just one example of the many ways in which prescription drugs are causing harm and fatalities. Number 2. Bribe taking is rampant. Bribery is a widespread issue in the pharmaceutical industry, with companies resorting to illegal practices to gain an advantage in the market. One example of this is the case of GlaxoSmithKline, which was accused of dishing out over $500 million in bribes in China. The bribes were given to hospital administrators, doctors, and government officials with the intention of increasing GlaxoSmithKline's market share. This type of behavior is illegal and can have severe consequences for companies caught engaging in it. Bribery is a universal crime, and those caught engaging in it can face severe legal consequences, no matter where they're from. Number 1. The number of people on antidepressants is disheartening. Depressing? You bet. The high number of Americans taking antidepressants is a cause for concern. According to a report by the New York Times, over 30 million Americans were on some kind of antidepressant several years ago. This number is likely to have increased since then. This suggests that 1 out of 10 Americans are taking antidepressants. Furthermore, antidepressants are known to have a high rate of associated suicide. Studies indicate that 25% of women between the ages of 40 and 60 are also on some kind of antidepressant, which is a significant number. These statistics raise questions about the state of mental health in the country and the effectiveness and safety of antidepressants as a form of treatment. The pharmaceutical industry is a powerful force that plays a significant role in our healthcare system. However, its corrupt practices such as bribing doctors and overpricing drugs have a negative impact on patients and the healthcare system as a whole. What's the biggest pharmaceutical scam that shocked you? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Make sure to watch our other videos. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.